Good morning, everyone. Today we will start our program with Cardiff level. We will start with a reading. Today's topic will be about a company that is a car rental company called Hertz. Most of you have heard it or at least saw it. So basically they filed for bankruptcy. Today we will be reading their article and discussing some vocab like we usually do. So this is our topic for today. Car rental group Hertz files for bankruptcy. Filing for bankruptcy is basically going through a whole process where you try to get away from paying your debts. So bankruptcy alone definition is a legal proceeding involving a person or business that is unable to repay their outstanding debts. So basically, I have a business, I take some debts so I can make my business continue. Then because of some unsuccessful or some situation like the pandemic now, I'm unable to pay my debts, and this is why I file a petition so I can get away from paying this debt. And all these, so let's say it's a business and the business has some assets and liabilities. Assets is basically what the business owns. So they check their assets and the bank, let's say, they check the assets and they try to find out if this business is able to repay at least some of it, or if they actually can file for bankruptcy or not. So this is basically a brief definition. And how does it work basically, or why do we use it? It's basically, it gives a chance for either an individual or a business to get away from paying their debts, so they start fresh, or the creditors are also receiving some money, or some assets in different forms. It depends. So if this business has some land, they receive land instead of money directly. So it's offering a second chance for the people, and if the filing is successful, the entitled equity is relieved of the debt obligation. They don't have to pay this debt anymore. So advantages and disadvantages. We spoke about getting rid of this obligation to pay, but also this business could either save, or this person can save their house, the business, and the ability to continue again and maybe open up a new business since they don't have to pay all these debts. But the disadvantages are basically it lowers the credit rating. So, when you apply for some debt from the bank, they offer you a percentage. So that percentage would go higher because this person had this problem before. Or it's also more difficult to get this loan or a mortgage or credit card, even buy a house or loan, even rent the house. So it gets more difficult because it's on your record that basically this person went bankrupt. So here we have some names of companies. I want you to think about what do you know about these companies and research and see how are they doing now during this pandemic, how are they making their employees work, have they laid off any people recently. So we will learn about these things and take notes about it. I'll give you a few seconds to write the names of the companies. It should be simple. Just what do you know about this company? So what do they operate in, or how big are they, whatever you know. And what did you learn through your research about what's happening to them through the pandemic? Here now we have the article we're going to read now. You have some time to take a look at this and try to understand the vocab. What is the article trying to tell you? Some of the vocab will be new. We will discuss it after the reading. I believe this is enough. We will go to the second part. Okay, let's go on to discuss some of the vocab. So here we have plummeting, the first word. So if in the text it was filed for bankruptcy protection in the US after plummeting rentals. So something that is plummeting, it means that it's like falling or dropping, so there's an increased drop in it. And another synonym for it could be decline. So they have the same meaning. Franchise, it operates over 10,200 franchises. So franchise is basically a business that gives a license to something, so they operate with that name by following the same standards of that business. So, for example, McDonald's, they offer franchises all around the world, so they are available everywhere, but it's not necessarily owned all by the same person. Some people take the franchise and get the business available. Laid off, they laid off more than 20,000 of its employees. So give up or stop doing something. Here, laid off is basically they let them go. Discharge. Debt, 18.8 billion of debt. So debt is money that is owed to someone. So it's like credit, which you use also in Turkish. Pioneered is like discovered. He pioneered what he called a drive yourself system. And obviously it's developed or was the first to use or apply a new method. So discovery. Impacted, how the pandemic has impacted her. So had a strong effect on it. We've spoke about impacted a lot. I wanted you just to check it out again. Affected is a synonym for it. Devastated. So it was devastated by the plunge in travel since the pandemic hit earlier this year. So it was hit or destroyed or ruined. Devastated makes something like quite upset about something as well. Here are some of the vocab from the article itself, which I want you to go through. I'm sure you know most of them, but if you don't, take some time to get the definition and synonyms for it. Should be very simple. We spoke about cost efficient. There's also assets. We spoke about it. You should know all of these. Now some of the questions about this article. So what did the article say dried up worldwide? Dried up means is not working anymore. Like imagine a lake full of water and dried up, it means there's no water anymore, so it's not running. Okay. Rentals, and why did they dry up? Because of the travel industry and how badly it was affected. How much was Hertz in debt? I mentioned it a while ago, $18.8 billion. And how many cars did Hertz have when it started? If you remember, for T model, It was talking about that car, and they had only 12 when they started. And how much of Hertz revenue is from rentals at airport location? So only at the airport location, how much of the revenue? Revenue is the money they're making. Nearly 2/3. What would you do if you went bankrupt? So this is something we will discuss. Just think about it think about having a business, then this business not working out. What would happen if you went bankrupt? Probably go to your mom and dad. How has the pandemic impacted the travel industry? You know, no traveling, so like how badly did it impact this industry? Try to learn about this question, so research it. And how do you feel about traveling overseas now after this pandemic? So I think some of the lifts might be up in June, so will you be traveling overseas? And finally, companies should never be allowed to go bankrupt. This is something you will be discussing in an academic writing format. So are you with this or against it? Let me know. This is a homework actually, so you are supposed to submit it. This is it for reading. We will continue with listening in like 3 to 4 minutes, so it's a short break. We will see you again soon.